Alright, so what I'm going to do is start off with when I was 17 years old. Sorry about that. When I was 17 years old, and that was when I had my first encounter with an older man. As it was pretty public, so as everybody knows, it was I'm saying the names because a lot of this is obviously, like, a lot of people already know about everything, so that's why I'm saying names. I'm not saying the names of anybody that's irrelevant to, these people. Anyway, so the first person I'm talking about is Camille Poirier. I was informed last year, like, I heard the misinterpreted drama going around that I got him for statutory rape or something, but in reality that never happened because we only had one meeting, and that was the first and the last, and we did not meet again. Well, we did meet once again, but I'll get into that later on in the story, I guess I should say. So I'm basically just gonna explain how I met him and what that encounter looked like. So I met him through my boyfriend at the time, Derek Robertson, which, once again, people already know this stuff. And when I met Camille, when we had this interaction, it was at the Blue Armories building in Pictou, and he pulled in. I was sitting there waiting for a friend, and he pulls in, asks if I want a cigarette. So I smoked at the time, so that was how he kinda, got my attention. So obviously I was like, yeah, sure, so we sparked up conversation, and one thing led to another. We were talking about, I told him what I was there for, and one thing, like I said, led to another. We were talking about work and stuff. I was looking for work at the time, and then he had asked me if, some money if I want some money for some sexual favors, and that was the first time that's ever happened to me. So, and at the time, I'm also aware that there was already, like, I don't know if this was before that or after, but there was time where this was getting circled around, this rumor that I was doing this. And I just want to let everybody know, too, that no, I did not, like, wide open do this. There was, like, a few guys, 3 to be exact, that I did do that with. And they were all decent men, like, they did not, abuse me in any way at all. It was a very, anyway, I just wanted to make that clear, that, they were actually really, decent, like I said, compared to these, the other interactions that I've had with men. Like, compared to that, it was nothing compared to some of what I'm gonna say. So, and if anybody's wondering too, like, why I'm going this far back, I didn't explain this in my introductory video. I'm going this far back because I thought, personally, like, I think it's unfair for Wonka for me to solely focus on him, when I'll even show you a message from him. Like, I did call him names, when I was seeing him. I've called him names, and there's a message from him where he's asking me, oh, did you call all these other people the same names, So that's why I'm not just focusing on him, because it wasn't just him. All of what I'm gonna talk about happened within a year of each other, so it all kind of intertwines and stuff. So anyway, so we were at the part where he was offering me money, and then so that happens. So when he asked me that, I said, I was like, I'm waiting for a friend, obviously. Tried my best to persuade myself out of it, because that was the first time that ever happened to me. At the time, I was just finding my voice, basically, like just starting to have conversations with people, because before that I was pretty shy. Like, anybody who knows me knows I was extremely shy growing up and stuff. And so this is first time this has happened to me. I'm feeling like basically sick to my stomach is the best way to put it, because I don't really know what to do in this sort of situation, so I'm trying my best to get out of it. So anyway, I did eventually get myself out of it. I said that I'll meet him, I'll go to his house. I said that I would, but I did not. I went to the park instead, but I just said that I would so he would leave, right? And I've told the cops this when it all happened too. Like, I told them everything. And because like, I have no reason to lie. So anyway, went to the park, didn't feel right there, so I went to my boyfriend's at the time, or ex, I don't know, we were on and off at the time, so I'm not sure if we were really together or what. I was living with my parents, so anyway, I go down there. He seemed like he was, I don't know, a little buzz on. That's irrelevant. Anyway, so I tell him about what's going on, tell him what happened. And he says, that's disgusting, go home, tell your parents. So that's exactly what I did. Go home, tell my parents. It was like midnight when I told them. And, you know, they obviously didn't know what to say at first. And the next day, like, they said, yeah, we'll deal with it, you know, in the morning, because, like I said, it was midnight, so couldn't really do too much anyway. So yeah. So the police were called the next day, and so obviously you guys can clue into what happened there, because obviously there was an investigation. Like, I'm aware that there was undercovers, because they stopped me in the streets and stuff at the time. Excuse me. And so I was dealing with that, and a couple days after it happened, that meeting with Camille happened, he did come to Derek's and tried to talk to me then, but I wasn't allowed. It was a no contact order, obviously. So sorry, I don't mean to laugh. A leaf just hit my face, that's why I'm laughing. But anyway, so he came to Derek, tried to talk to me, and I said no, obviously, because no contact. So that was the only second interaction that we ever had, and that was the end of it. And nothing ever even went of it, you know. There was other girls, like, and still today I still hear the stories and stuff. But anyway, it's not me anymore. That's all that matters. And I want to clear that up, because like I said in the beginning, there was misinterpreted rumors about that. So moving on. I think that's all I can say really about that, because nothing did happen of it. Nothing serious. Anyway, moving on. About like a month later or something, my boyfriend Derek had shared a post, or not my boyfriend now, but my boyfriend then. Make that also clear. Well, everybody knows he's got a woman and stuff, so anyway. So this was back in would have been 2015, 2017, I believe, around that time frame. And anyway, so he shared a post on Facebook of Gobber. Everybody knows Gobber. So he was diving in the Pictou waterfront for one of the ships or whatever, one of the old ships that were sunken in there. And so that's how I discovered Gobber. So I was like, and Derek hated like old pervs and stuff. Like, he voiced that very clear. So it was another thing. So I was like, I want to piss him off and stuff. So like, that's what I think I was doing, because in reality it kind of worked, because he did like call the cops on this guy anyway when I went down to tell him about it and stuff, and also recorded me and showed it to a bunch of people as well. That's cool, but whatevs. Anyway, like I said, this is all in the past. Like, today I've healed from all this, but because the band-aid keeps getting ripped open and people don't know the truth, that's why I just want to let it all shine, you know? But anyway, so me and Gobber did like our first, I don't know why I have this written down, but anyway, like our first interaction, like it was like when I was obviously like not medicated, like I've said previous to this, you know, so it's just wide open. Anyway, our first meeting, there was money involved for like sex and stuff. But anyway, after that, like we did have a relationship, as people know and stuff. But yeah, we did have a pretty serious relationship. Like, we basically lived together after, you know, seeing each other for so long. We didn't start like spending all that time together until things were, you know, in the open and stuff. So anyway, we had a little relationship there, and he's the one who offered me my first drink. I was 17. You know, at the time, like, he even knows that, and the people that freaked out know that, obviously. But there was like guys that were around my brother's age that were like freaking out, calling him names and stuff, saying that they were gonna basically like beat him up, like threatening his life, right? Anyway, so the notes I have here are just so detailed. Anyway, it wasn't long after I became like, you know, I was drinking beer like pretty steady with him, right? And yeah, we just fought a lot when we were drinking, but that was probably due to me, I don't know, just because I was, you know, unmedicated and everything, right? So from what I remember, I was always on his bathroom floor crying, just, you know, hammered, and that's just how it went. And then he left. Time went on. We seen each other from like, I think it was a few months. It was from like April or something like that, the spring to winter, because he left for Mexico. And when he left from Mexico, I just went completely downhill, as I've told people, just because I was in love with him, and like I thought he was gonna take me with him. Like, I was so devastated and everything when he left, and like people that knew me then knew that, because like that's when I started to get into the party scene, was when he left, and go wide open with that, and he knew that, and you know, it was just, I have it in my notes, it says lost my mind. And that's basically what happened. So I started looking on dating sites. This is when the dating sites come in. Like, it's out there that I'm attacking everyone that I found on a dating site. Oh my god. But it's in reality, like, ding ding, fact checked, it's really the only people I met on POF were, or any dating site, were my Bruce, which is my baby daddy, and Walter. And I have nothing bad to say about Walter, never will. He's right here with me, always, right on my arm. I got that from him shortly after he passed. He loved Tom Petty. We loved listening to Tom Petty together. And he always wanted to get Tom Petty, so if he was going to get a tattoo, it's going to be Tom Petty. So I got one for him. Anyway, I just want to put that out in the open as well. So I started looking for a guy on POF, as I was just saying. And I was looking for, I was so out of my mind, so sick, so, you know, nothing was positive up here. And I was so, like, I have it down here, literally written down. It says, look for the most creepiest looking men. And I did. Like, I was looking for, like, the most sickest because I was sick. So Bruce thinks that I pick on him and call him these names because I'm just, you know, just saying it. No, it's actually, like, it's facts. Like, this is what I was looking for at the time because that's how I was. So, another thing too, I'm just going to say it now because it's on my mind, is the fact that, anyway, it's gone. I apologize. I'm just going to continue on here because I keep interrupting myself. So, that's my own fault. Anyway, so I want to also, it's written down here that I want to piss guys off. Those guys were my exes. You know, like, I guess, because they just, yeah, like I said, like, one of my exes didn't like older men instead of me being with them and all that jazz. And oh, and it's also written here that Gobber told me that I would be pregnant by the time he got back from Mexico. This was a few years ago now. And, yeah, that would have been 2015, actually, now I'm thinking of it. Anyway, so, yeah, so, I was, as everybody knows, because I was just wide open. When he left, I was, like I said, heartbroken. That's what you do. You go crazy, basically. So, he left for Mexico, and then, you know, I meet Bruce. We had a fling, you know, nothing serious. That's even what's written down here. And it really wasn't. Obviously, me and him know that just because that's how it was at the time, because I wasn't looking for anybody, like, for a serious relationship at the time, just because I was still heartbroken over him, so Gobber, and it took me a little bit to get over that. But anyway, when I was with him, Bruce I'm talking about, I would, like, voice my opinions, you know, of him, what I thought of him and stuff, and he knows that, and, like, I would voice that I didn't like him and everything, like, and this was when I first met him, right? Like, we obviously, it's, like, really complicated, not the relation, well, yeah, maybe, but, it is what it is, basically. I'm just saying it how it is, trying to keep it to that. So things didn't end very well with me and Brucey, and even today we don't have a relationship today, right now. It's non-existent, and that's his own fault. I've tried for, you know, ever since I found out I was pregnant. Yeah, well, I shouldn't say that because he did want, you know, he wanted the opposite of what I wanted. He wanted the family, he wanted everything. I was 18 when I found out I was pregnant, so that was a lot for somebody, you know, take on at 18, anybody. So, and I knew that I had other problems and stuff that I needed to take care of and all that. And anyway, point blank, like, I just didn't want to be with somebody. I didn't want to settle for something, right, that I didn't want. So I tried to do the single mom thing for a bit, obviously, because that's the route it went. And anyway, so after Bruce, Walter comes into this, because I met Walter after a little bit after we met on the dating site, and we met, I think it was maybe like a month or whatever after I met Bruce. So he like literally saved me from like a whole bunch of darkness. Like, you know, it's unreal. Like, I was very happy when I was with him, and we had a lot of fun when we were together. Like, I have nothing bad to say about Walter, and like people think that I outed him or whatever. No, I never did, never will, and never need to. Like, everybody that knew him knew that he was a kind soul, and yeah, he took care of me like the whole pregnancy. He was there for, right beside me, holding my hand, right when Penelope, my daughter, was born. So yeah, he was a big part of my life, and he always will be, always. I'll never have anything bad to say about Walter. And I think I'm actually no, just because when me and Walter were together, that's when Wonka comes into the picture. So we started seeing Wonka. He would like wave and stuff, and Wonka actually just lived right down the road from Walter, where me and Walter were where Walter lived. So, you know, he would probably seen us all the time or whatever, but anyway, there were times like I would come out of the house, me and Walter would come out of the house, and if Walter was still alive, I'm sure he would like attest to this. Just the fact that Wonka would be outside the house across the street in the town truck, the white and yellow, like the yellow stripes or whatever on it. Yeah, and I didn't know that that was him until like months later, you know, asking him, and he's like, oh yeah, you know. And so yeah, he would stalk me. He was stalking me before I even met him, right? So, and I had no idea until, like I said, months later when we would talk about it. So, so that happened, and then there was the night that me and Wonka met, and yeah, I have it also written down. Well, yeah, like I said, he did stalk me, like when he first stalked me though, like when he actually talked to me for the first time. Like, I was walking Penelope, and he stopped and talked to me, and I thought it was his brother Lou at the time. And he knows that, like everybody knows that. I thought Wonka looked a lot like Lou. It's just, yeah. Anyway, and so I like mistaken them for a minute there, and then I talked to him, and yeah. I was like very happy, like I didn't think anything of it. Like I didn't know at the time that this guy's been, you know, following me around for a while, like, but anyway, so that happened. And, so I'm going to talk about the night, me and Wonka, like, we started talking, actually, before we even met. How we met was he commented on my post. I was looking for an apartment at the time, or a house or something. I was in the process of, like, I wanted to move out, right? I was looking for a place, and anyway, he's commented on my post, said, oh, like, I know a place, like, and that's where he was staying at the time. So he said, yeah, you can come and look or whatever. So I go and look, like, the day came, and when I went, I had my daughter Penelope, and I'm not like proud to say any of this, obviously, like, but I just want to get the true facts out there, so I'm gonna go through with that. And so I had Penelope, and I was drinking that night that I met him, and I picked up like some moonshine or whatever from a friend on my way to meet him. And so I didn't have like a really good buzz on, but I did have a little buzz on before I went to go meet him. So, and like I said, he just lived down the street from Walter, so it was pretty, you know, it was pretty, yeah. wasn't feeling like, I was feeling pretty weird, obviously. So I go in there and he doesn't drink. And like right off the bat, like I think I asked him if he wanted a drink or whatever right off the bat. And he was like, no, I don't drink. And so that was that. And the night went on, and I'm aware that I blacked out, but it wasn't until months later I knew all of what I'm gonna say. Just the fact that something did happen, because I know, you know, like when you black out, like there are some moments that you remember, like later on, obviously, and that's what happened to me. So I remembered that something happened between us sexually that night, and I was, you know, just a glimpse of it, like, comes out, right, like, in my, up here, and I still remember it, right, and, so months went on, well, maybe not months, weeks, probably, or whatever, maybe a couple months. I asked him, I know 110% I asked him this, like, eye to eye, I asked him, did anything happen that night? And he said no. And I said, and I already knew, I knew the answer, that's why, you know, I was just seeing what he was gonna say. So, and that's when I started getting that red flag, right? Like, all of this isn't for nothing, in reality. Like, stuff happened that, you know, people didn't know about and stuff, obviously, because I never said anything, right? But, so, that happened. So, like, I blacked out, stuff happened, and he probably still today will say nothing happened. But anyway, I've healed, like, I've let go of all this stuff, but, yeah, I'm just basically bringing it up just because people obviously don't know about that night. That was the first night we ever met, and, like, even after that, he didn't want us, well, he didn't want me to drink, like, he never wanted me, he wanted me to stop, you know, he said if we ever hang out again, there won't be any, you know, liquor involved or whatever, right? But yeah, and that was mostly all of that. And we had a relationship, as everybody knows, and that relationship was, you know, like up and down and stuff. There was, he never like hit me or anything, but there was a lot of verbal, you know, fighting and stuff, and over Messenger and all that. I don't have any records of it because it's from years ago, and everybody who knows me knows I went through phone after phone after phone, and just, yeah. But anyway, I'm just saying what I remember about that, and yeah, so that was mostly the worst of it, to be honest, was that first night, and that was the worst. And when he was, like, before I even met him, I would say that would be, like, the worst. And, you know, he would give me hickeys and stuff. I know that when I was with him, like, and I wouldn't want them. Just like, you know, there were times when I didn't want to have sexual, like, relations or contact, you know. But he, you know, just pushed through. But anyway, I'm not, you know, calling him any names or anything, because I'll clarify, I believe I was, 19 when this happened, when all of this happened. But I know he was also, he does date back, so, like, he did, well, I don't know if it was stalking, but he would park outside of my ex's house, because I remember him mentioning it. And, like, you know, other people have called him names and stuff. But anyway, so after Wonka, I was with one of his friends Dale McPhail, as everybody knows. So that relationship was obviously, like, I met him through his son. I, like, dated his son, and then that's how I met Dale. And Dale knew that I was with Wonka before and stuff, I guess. Like, they would brag, you know, like, whatevs. And, but anyway, so that would happen. And, me and him, everybody knows, like, we drank years ago, obviously, together. We were in an accident together, or whatever. And that's all. Yeah, point blank, it was obviously self-explanatory. Like, I know it was toxic. Like, I don't think I knew 100% when I was, like, living it and all that, but I know now, obviously. And when I sobered up, like, I could obviously, I knew that I was obviously sick when I wasn't, you know, when I wasn't sober. So, anyway, yeah, so me and Dale, like, we've seen each other, whatever, and that was that. And him and Dave, like, they're like a little two peas in a pod sort of deal. Like, I spent a lot of time with them, as most people know, like, driving around and stuff, that, like, I just know that they're, you know, when I was hanging out with them, I was sick. So, it was just a whole crew of sick people, basically. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stop the video there, just because I think I've said everything I needed to say, mostly.